Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and this is your 10-second tip. A great way to cross over is to just use your wrists to explode that ball from one side to the other, like this. Drop it through. Yeah. See how you do it like a magician. When Grant Hill first came on the scene, he joined one of the greatest Duke teams of all time, playing a key role on back-to-back national championship teams. And while their other stars did a ton of the work, Hill still stood out amongst all that talent, mainly for his unworldly athletic ability. And he molded all of that incredible athleticism into a supreme skill, able to score in a variety of ways and impact the game profoundly on both sides of the ball. Coming to the NBA in the midst of the ISO ball era, he quickly announced his presence with authority, winning Rookie of the Year by posting some of the most impressive first-year stat lines that we've ever seen. And for the next 5 seasons, he was unquestionably the leader of a team that appeared to be on the rise, peaking at 54 wins in the 96-97 season, despite a lackluster collection of players around Hill. And what made Grant Hill so special during this period? He was a cold-blooded assassin who could break you down off his patented crossover, finish strong with a ferocious dunk on anyone, and could pull up for his mid-range after breaking serious ankles. At his height, his effect on the court gave the team a 14-point advantage per 100 possessions. And it wasn't just his scoring. He was a facilitator too, someone that could use his gravity to draw the defense's attention and then throw a slick pass to an open teammate for an easy bucket. Make no mistake, his trajectory was as a top 3 player in the league, and by the end of the 90s, just look at the effect on his scoring when he opened up his game to shoot a few more 3-pointers. To those questioning whether he would have been a good 3-point shooter had he actually shot them, I point to his shooting mechanics and decent effectiveness of this year to make the case that he easily could have been an above-average long-distance bomber if he had increased his attempts. While he had a very high release, he kept the ball in front of his face, enabling him to maintain the power and rhythm better than a player who brought the ball farther over his head like Kobe Bryant did. The unfortunate part of this story is that Grant Hill's ankle started bothering him towards the end of the 99-2000 season, and while he tried to treat it, in the second game of the playoffs, it ended up breaking. And if the rehab had gone properly, who knows what would have happened with his career? Up to that point, everything was coming together for him, and he was primed to go on a 4 or 5 season all-time run that would have had him in a discussion for top 10 or 15 of all time. Instead, things went poorly in Orlando. They let him play before he was ready, and the ankle never fully recovered. Every so often, he'd remind us a bit of the prime Grant Hill, the guy who cold embarrassed other all-stars. But he had lost most of his explosiveness and had to rely on veteran savvy. He did have a revival playing alongside Steve Nash for a few years in Phoenix, posting his last good year at 38 and even knocking down 40% of his threes while taking the most of his career. It's important to remember that Grant Hill arrived in Detroit at the end of the Bad Boys era, when guys like Isaiah Thomas played through injuries, and the mindset back then, as demonstrated by guys like Larry Bird and Karl Malone, was that if you could walk, you could play. Robbed of his ultimate prime, we'll never know how dominant Grant Hill would have been. But based on the evidence, there is no question he would have put up these kinds of numbers. And if you search through the entire history of the NBA, only 8 other players have had seasons with similar numbers. Had he been among the likes of Oscar, Michael, and LeBron, there is no doubt in my mind he would have catapulted up the ranks of the NBA elite. This isn't a sad ending, however, as Grant Hill has found a new career as an excellent NBA analyst. And while I'm sure it was easy for NBA TV to hire him, it might not be nearly as easy for you to find qualified candidates for your job openings. That's why ZipRecruiter is a must. They'll send your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards and scan thousands of resumes to match the right people and invite them to apply. They're so effective, 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. With results like that, it's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the highest rated hiring site in America, And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free by clicking on the link in the description below or type in ziprecruiter.com/breakdown in your browser. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And so the next time you hear someone say Grant Hill wasn't that good, just grab your phone, fire up this video, and make them sit and watch the whole thing. Sports fans, make sure to hit the subscribe button and adjust your settings so you can get notified immediately when we drop another great NBA video. Let us know how you feel with a thumbs up and a comment. After all, at BBallBreakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in?